All right, welcome back to another edition of Hanging with the Howards. I am Brian, joined alongside my beautiful and gorgeous, talented wife, Tisha.
Hello, everybody.
Well, first of all, we obviously want to thank those that have been listening to our podcast,
Definitely.
whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. But we also want to apologize. We've missed a few weeks, I guess, or days of doing this particular podcast. Honestly, we had to recover from Vegas. I mean, let's
Right.
be honest, it was Vegas.
Yes.
So obviously you got a little bit of a head start because you were in San Diego of the time change, but
Hmm.
man, it wore me down. And then obviously when we got back, it wore you down a little bit as
Yeah.
well. So,
Yeah.
but it's good to be back, isn't it?
It is good to be back. Like you said, we apologize for missing the podcast, but last week we had to kind of recover. I think I was in the bed maybe at 9ish, 9:30, pretty
She,
much every
she,
night.
she was old. She
So
was like an old lady out there. Oh, too soon. Too soon. See that look? Too soon.
like I was saying, yes, Vegas was fun, but it was kind of exhausting. So we were both getting older. So we both had to recover from the trip. But anyway, we'll move on along. We'll move on along.
Yeah, one of the things that obviously stood out when we were in Vegas, and I mean, we had a heck of an episode in Vegas,
Yes, that was fun.
but one of the things obviously that we didn't touch on was it's Sin City, it's Vegas. What a better place to get married, right?
Hmm.
Better
We
place.
thought,
Yeah,
we thought,
I mean, it is somewhat of a dream of mine to get married by Elvis, but like none of my previous two marriages, I got married by Elvis, and I didn't get married with you by Elvis
hmm
either. So, but it kind of caught us off guard a little bit because
hmm
you're seeing these couples roaming around Vegas, and the woman wearing a white wedding dress, and I go, hey, well, congratulations, right? You think
hmm
that this is like the greatest time of their lives, right?
right,
And they look like they're about to die. Like
yeah.
they look miserable out there.
Yeah, we don't know if it was the alcohol or whether, it was just one of those
Shots.
spur of the moment things, like let's get married, and then they regretted it. But literally the women were like, thanks. We'd be walking, holding hands, hey, congratulations. And they would look at us and like, thanks. So that was kind of a bummer to see. It's like it's your wedding day, and I just want to say that we thought that we're gonna have to get married again because the marriage, the license expire and all of this stuff.
What?
So
The
we
marriage license
so we
expired.
thought that we were gonna have to do this
Oh,
all over again in
oh,
Vegas.
oh.
So, I think we got the real information and realized we didn't have to go through that process again. But yeah, it was a little disheartening to see the brides in Vegas not as happy as we thought they would be.
No, it was a little bit surprising. I think it was, and brought me back to a time, I guess, when you know I proposed to you, and we got married all in a 4 day stretch. Obviously, what better way? We're very unconventional. If you
Yes,
haven't figured that out,
y'all should know that by now.
right? So, but leading up to, like, for example, for our marriage and our proposal,
Mhm.
leading up to the time when you were coming to Virginia Beach, just touch about like how things were before you even got on that plane to come to Virginia Beach.
Well, we had the on a previous episode we talked about Dominican, Republic, how we had that trip, and I got my promise ring, and everything was just kind of cruising along. Well, after we got back was when he moved to Virginia for another job. So basically that was in January. And so I knew that Valentine's Day, was his favorite holiday. So I had made plans to go up from Arkansas on Valentine's Day to kind of spend that holiday with him. And so I think I was supposed to get there that Friday. Yeah, got there that Friday. Was going to stay through Valentine's Day and leave the next day. Well, That Tuesday, I'll never forget. I was in my living room. Back then, I was in shape. I was doing some stuff. I was trying to, get right, stay right. So I'm on my little recumbent bike, doing my little workout. And next thing I know, I get a text. And I look down at my phone and it said, "Hey, what do you think about getting married Valentine's Day?" Now keep in mind this is a Tuesday before I'm supposed to leave going to Virginia Friday. Valentine's Day is literally 1 week away. Okay. So here I am. I didn't even think anything about it. So I was like, okay, sure. And then I don't know how he felt, but he was like, "Really? Are you serious?"
Well, I
I
mean,
think I shocked you.
yeah, I didn't expect the answer that,
Hmm.
I mean, I guess again, we're very unconventional. So I probably should have expected you say, yeah, sure, why not? But I didn't expect that. So my mind was kind of racing, but yet excited because obviously we hadn't seen each other since the move. So,
Hmm.
uh, leading up to you getting on that plane and us having that particular conversation, I just didn't know, and you had said before when we had started dating, I would follow this guy anywhere. And when she said anywhere, I was up for a job in Washington, and I'm fortunate that I didn't get that particular job, obviously, but at the same time, I don't think you'd have followed me to Pullman, Washington.
No, because I fact check and I do demographic checks, and Pullman was not going to be for us, or I'll say not going to be for me. But anyway, you could have gone, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't have followed him to Pullman. Sorry, Pullman.
Right. So while all this is going on, okay, so I start getting in my head a little bit. Oh, she's serious. Like she wants to get married, right? Well, I got to do stuff, and I'd already got the ring, so that wasn't the issue. The issue was, well, how am I going to propose to this woman? Like I want to make it special. I don't want to propose to her on the phone, like or on FaceTime, like that's generic, right? But I wanted to make it special. So what I did was I started putting my romantic mind in order and saying, "Hey, oh man, I would love to get some red roses and do like rose petals and write, 'Will you marry me?' and rose petals, right?" And I went and looked at the price of roses
Change his
around
mind real quick.
now keep in mind now this is around Valentine's Day, so the price of a rose is expensive around Valentine's Day. Red rose. So I said, well, Tisha loves chocolates. All right. So the next best thing, the very next best thing is to get some Hershey Kisses. Now, for the life of me, I have no idea why I got 5 large bags of Hershey Kisses.
He was
Why? But
excited. He was excited.
apparently so. But I was trying to figure out how to write "Marry Me" in a Hershey Kiss, in the words. And I still got red roses for the rose petals leading from the door into the dining room area. So I was like, okay, and I got a red roses as a dozen red roses. So I knew what I wanted to do. It was just about how to go about doing it. So I set everything up on Thursday night. Is kind of when I set everything up because I knew on Friday I had to go to work, but I wouldn't have time to come home, set everything up, and then go back out. But I thought that's what I was going to do, but I did actually have that time. So I went home real quick, set everything up, and then went to go pick her up at the airport. So when she arrived at the airport, I had these red roses. So it kind of just threw everything off, and I was still thinking, how am I going to propose to you? Like,
Mhm.
I have no idea how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And so I had these black fluorescent lights. I had the
Mhm.
"Marry Me" and the Hershey Kisses, which, by the way, I still had plenty of Hershey Kisses, plenty.
Had enough left over.
Um, so when we got to the apartment or to the townhouse, we walk in the door, and I'd already had like an idea in my head, like
Mhm.
I want to play a song, but no, that's too generic. Like she'll figure something out. So like I was like, okay, how do I get you in the house first, right? Or how
Mhm.
do I get in the house first? And obviously I want to be a gentleman, so I
Mhm.
grabbed your bags, and, walked in the house, and you turned the corner
Mhm.
to go into the dining room area, and you saw "Marry Me." You saw the rose petals obviously first
Mhm.
because they were in the
Left
doorway,
from the
but
doorway.
then you saw "Marry Me." What happened at that
It's all a blur. It happened so unexpectedly.
point? It,
But
it did happen unexpectedly. Like
it
you
did.
looked at it, then I got down on my
Yes.
knee.
By the time I looked at it, there he was, and with the ring, and he proposed. I thought about it for a minute. I was like, yeah, I guess I better say yes at this point. We've made it this far. So I went ahead and said yes. But backtrack a little bit. Tuesday, when he asked me that before the proposal for before I got there Friday, that Tuesday after I agreed to get married on Valentine's Day, I literally had to go on Amazon and find a wedding dress. I found my wedding dress, had it shipped to Virginia Beach so that it would be there in time for the wedding. So it was supposed to come, I think, that Monday, but it actually came Sunday. But I literally had my wedding dress. Of course, didn't try it on nothing. I prayed it fit, and it fit for the most part. But anyway, that's on down the line. Anyway, so yes, I have my wedding dress shipped from to Virginia Beach through Amazon. So we have the proposal Friday.
Proposals on Friday. Obviously, we're glowing, we're
Mhm.
excited, everything, and so um, now came the next step, like trying to get married, right? And
Mhm.
I've never been a part of this. Like I know with my parents, they've seen me get married twice previously, so I knew that they weren't going to uh, come see me get married again. You know,
Mhm.
and they said, hey, they had told me before, just go to the courthouse, right?
Mhm.
So I said, all right, well, yeah, let's get married on Valentine's Day, and we just need to get the marriage certificate at the courthouse, and if we can find a pastor to marry us, that would be great. Little did I know how serious Tisha was through this whole thing because I kept thinking in the back of my head, there is no way she is going to get married to me without her daughters being there, without family being there, without any of that stuff. There's just no way. And I kept waiting for her to back out, back out. So we get to Tuesday, which is Valentine's Day. We go to get the marriage license. Still, by the way, still, she has not backed out. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe we're about to get married.
Think he was getting cold feet, but
It might have been the ocean, to be honest with you. That
yeah,
water was cold,
it was cold.
but it wasn't so much cold feet. But like, what was going through your mindset? Because now you've got the proposal on Friday, Valentine's Day is on Tuesday. So what really is going through your mind? Because it's such a very short time frame.
Well, I think we actually posted on Facebook that Friday. Hey, we're engaged, and then had to turn around again on Tuesday and say, hey, we're married. So I think for me, what was going through my head, like he said, I wanted, of course, I wanted my daughters to be there. So I was, it was kind of bittersweet, for them not being there. Uh, so it was kind of hard for me. And, and I hope that they will forgive me. They didn't say anything negative, but I'm pretty sure they felt some type of way about it. Um, but it's just basically just at that point, after the proposal, just trying to get everything together. We didn't want to get married in a courthouse. That was not an option. And here we are in Virginia Beach. So what better place to get married than at the ocean front? So we were able to pick a location by Dairy Queen.
You
By,
could have it your way. Well, I was gonna say you could have it your way, but I
well,
know
that's
that's the
very good.
wrong one.
Yeah.
No, I think what really started all this was like a couple weeks before that was our daughter Jasmine getting married in Hawaii.
Mhm.
So you couldn't be there for the marriage, and I wasn't there, obviously. And so that kind of got my mind going, which is
Mhm.
why I said, "Oh, well, what do you think about getting married?" Right?
Mhm.
And still to this day, I don't know. Like, I still am in shock because of the fact that when we actually just went through, you know.
Mhm.
But it was nice because we did have that opportunity. We didn't get married in a courthouse.
Mhm.
We literally got married down by the ocean front
Mhm.
in Virginia Beach, and
Yeah.
it was a very beautiful ceremony, very fast
Yeah, and
ceremony,
very cold.
and very cold
Very
as
cold.
well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we have each other.
Mhm.
So, we then went and tried to find a place to eat dinner, and we ended up at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep.
So,
That was our yeah, that was what do you call it? The reception. That was our reception. Was Buffalo Wild Wings.
so shout
Yeah.
out Buffalo Wild Wings. I work at Alabama A&M, so I'll be happy Buffalo Wild Wings to take a NIL deal. So you can pass
Always
that
gotta
money.
add that in there.
Absolutely, pass that money my way. Okay, we're a Nike school. I'm wearing Nike, Alabama A&M. Shout out. Anyways, but it was
Uh-huh.
good to be able to have the wedding. So to propose on a Friday,
Friday.
married on Tuesday. So what happens the very next day?
So we get married Tuesday. We have our little reception, Buffalo Wild Wings, and I had to pack and leave the next morning.
Sad,
So
sad face.
yeah, I mean, it happened. Married Tuesday, back home Wednesday, and when I went back to work, my patients were like, "Hey, did you have a good time? What did you do?" And I was like, "Well, I got married," and everybody was just floored. I mean, my coworkers, my patients, nobody could believe it. And I do want to back up and say, even though our families couldn't be there, we did put them on a Zoom call.
Yeah, you put your family on a Zoom call. Yeah.
You had people
Oh yeah,
on the
yeah,
call.
yeah. I had some people
So we didn't, we included people as much as we could. And actually, I didn't really tell anybody until literally Monday night. I would just send everybody a text because I was just like, I just don't tell them what they're gonna say, so I'm not even gonna call anybody. So I sent everybody a text. It's like, hey, I don't want any judgment, but just to let you know, we're getting married tomorrow. And most people are like, oh, congratulations. Well, everybody, I guess, said congratulations, but I didn't really call anybody. I just sent out the message. Hey, we're getting married tomorrow. So we'll send the Zoom link. Do the Zoom link and you can get on the call at what 4 o'clock, 4:30.
something like that. Yeah.
And we were in the Eastern, and everybody, all our family, pretty much was in Central. So we had to make sure. Okay, it's 3:30 your time. So make sure you get on at this time. So that was a little interesting, but we did include our family in the wedding in the ceremony.
and I
So,
want to give a big thanks to the athletic department at Norfolk State for allowing me to have that Tuesday to go get married. You
and they were
know,
excited
they were,
for you.
but Wednesday came, so it was married one day, gone the next. So,
See you
uh,
later.
um, so it was very unconventional, and then having to navigate. We had just navigated a little bit of a long distance relationship. Now we got to navigate a long distance
Marriage.
marriage,
Yeah.
which can be just as difficult to
Hmm.
do. So, but you know, it was interesting because while we were in Vegas and seeing these couples who were getting married but seemed very unhappy getting married,
Hmm.
right? It brought me, at least for me, I can speak, it brought me back to the day when, I proposed to you and then got married to you,
Hmm.
to happy places,
Hmm.
right? And being able to share those moments. And,
Right.
and so for me, it was exciting. And for me, you know, seeing these couples in Vegas, and they're unhappy to
Hmm.
get married. Now I don't know if they're unhappy because they're getting married to that person, or if they wish their family was there,
And it
or
was 108 degrees, so they could have just been hot.
right.
I don't know.
They could have been coming down from a hangover for all we know. But at
Hey.
the end of the day, that was one of my things. And I also wanted to touch one more thing on Vegas. In the previous episode, we had talked about your luggage getting damaged
Hmm.
by Delta, right? And
Hmm.
it said don't expect, Delta stands for don't expect luggage to arrive. Well, little did I know, before we had recorded this particular podcast, and my former assistant, he was coming back from Vegas, and Delta did lose his luggage. So
Mm-mm.
it's amazing. Vegas is just one of those places, right?
Just never know what you're gonna get.
Absolutely. But yeah, our marriage is something special. It's something that I know for a fact we're never gonna forget. We're never gonna forget the proposal. I'm never gonna forget seeing you in that white dress.
Mm,
I'm just not, but I
sweet.
mean I have to go and look at it on my phone too. But I'm just kidding. Um, but at the end of the day, that was one of my things, was is that day will always be special. It really
It
will.
will.
And so I'm extremely happy and excited that I had that opportunity,
Mhm.
not just to propose to you, but to marry you.
Yeah.
And I know that, through this particular journey, like it's been fun. Like again, we
Hmm.
don't do anything conventional. So everything has
Yeah.
been unconventional. Um,
Yeah.
but it's been fun. So
It's definitely been fun, and I will say that a couple of my close friends and also coworkers, they're like, Tish, we're gonna be honest. At first we didn't know what you were doing. We were kind of concerned. We were worried about you, but then we met up with them, and they saw how great of a guy Brian is,
I
and
am.
well, you can put on pretty good show, and so so he laid it on pretty thick, so he put on a pretty good presentation for them, and they like him.
Can't help it. I'm a good actor.
Yes, yes, you
I'm a
are.
good actor.
Yes, you are.
I also stayed at a Holiday Inn one time.
Okay, well that explains it. That explains it. So we did meet up with them, and and they say, now we feel good about your decision, even though, and I'm pretty sure, most of my family and friends feel the same way. But they did, express to me, hey, we just thought you were kind of on this little, crisis thing. Something was going on here, but then when they got, when they met Brian and got to know him, got to talk to him, then they could see, how genuine he is, and so, everything is good in the world now. Everything is right. But yeah, it's very unconventional. And I really hate to say this, but it's on my mind. Vegas might not be the best place for weddings, but I'm gonna tell you, I saw some very happy divorced people there.
Absolutely.
This lady had on a sash that says, I'm divorced. And so when I passed by her and said congratulations, she was like, yes, yes, ma'am. So,
So you
If
saying you want to get divorced? Is that
if
is
the
that the way?
wedding don't work out, you may want to go to Vegas for your divorce party.
So you telling me you want to get divorced?
If
This
it ever
sounds
happens, I'm going to Vegas and celebrating. But
well.
I don't think it's gonna
Well, let's
happen.
not put
So
that in the
I
universe.
think we're good. I think we're
We are okay. Well,
good.
thank goodness for that.
Yes, we're
Right.
good.
But
We're good.
but yeah, we look forward to sharing more and more stories.
Mhm.
We got plenty of stories.
Oh yeah.
Coming down the
Just
pipelines
that.
and everything. So, but we just want to say again, thank you for
Mhm.
tuning in and listening. And again, you can always follow us on YouTube.
Mhm.
Leave a message, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and even follow us on Instagram, hanging with the Howards,
Mhm.
and everything. And
Yeah, and we love to hear your stories, and your comments. So please just, give leave us your comments. Let us know what you think, and give us some of your experiences.
absolutely, and we're gonna sign off. And as always, everything is
Worth
worth
the
the
wait.
wait.
See you next time.
Bye.